Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and Elon Musk has really been put out there as this pseudo hero against the establishment that stood up against lockdowns and bad guys, and he's here to put us in space and save the world. He's so cool. Electric cars, Tesla, bro. Underground tunnels. But what he really is a front man for a very, very real transhumanist agenda. That's the reality. And that's what we're going to be talking about, because the vast majority of the technology that Elon Musk rolls out has been around for decades. Let me repeat that. Has been around for decades. And now that he's given a recent interview where he is talking up both the fact that his brain chip has been in a chimpanzee, a monkey, we've talked about this, by the way, but that it's playing video games via a computer with this implantable chip. Yeah, that's right. That is old technology. The fact that he's also saying that we're going to Mars, and we're going to go to Mars quicker than we've gone to NASA. Remember when NASA was telling us we were going to the moon, and they rolled that, we're going to the moon 2024. We're going to the moon. They rolled that back. And these are the same types of promises that would allow them to update their already militarized space program, which we knew as Star Wars in the 80s, even gets a cameo. Even gets a little small cameo, that Star Wars program, in Wonder Woman 1984. It's about the militarization of space. This is about a transhumanist agenda. This is about Starlink and Neuralink coming together under a DARPA nightmare. And none of it's new. And it will go beyond Elon Musk, because it's not about Elon Musk. He's just selling it to you as the next hip, cool thing. You want AirPods? We've got the Neuralink, where a robot does brain surgery on you. You can't make this stuff up. And most people, even in, I would say the alternative media, continue to placate to this guy. Not this guy, not over here. When I watch his interviews with Joe Rogan, there's just so many other questions that I want to ask him about the logistics of these things that he's promoting, why he's been able to do these things, why he's been able to take essentially these businesses that should be losing massive amounts of money and turn them into pure gold. There is no pushback on Musk. All right, we're going to get into this, the transhumanist agenda, all of it. I want to remind people we're actually going to be putting together a new Go Get funding today, because it is the first of the month. But our GoFundMe got taken down midway. So we always leave these up for a few months anyway, because people watch these videos that are relevant. Like today, for instance, Marilyn Manson is trending because Evan Rachel Wood has done some new letter about him being her abuser. Not new to Jason Burmis. We covered it back in September, did an extensive video on it. So some people might watch that, say, hey, Burmis is great. That one might be a little bit too old, maybe just on the cusp now, but I leave them up for 6 months. Hopefully we can hit the goals this next month, but if you like what I do, the link is down below with other links out there. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. We're fully demonetized here. That's why we're talking about that. Fully demonetized on this platform. I believe almost 11 months. Nobody to talk to. Nobody cares. We just got our first warning with our mixed martial mindset program that I'll be doing later today with John Fitch, because I played a doctor at a Senate hearing talking about treating patients. No, I'm not making that up. And by the way, my video yesterday, Mr. Gates Saves the World Watch Along, somehow got a fact check about the election under it. Not about the election. Video's not talking about election integrity. Nope. Not even a little bit. No. And I talk about weird fact checks during that. And sure enough, we get a really weird fact check over there. In fact, we covered it today over on the Rockfin exclusive. Okay, guys? Again, make that free Rockfin account Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We go live and free. That one's staying there. Maybe a little too spicy for YouTube, right? Maybe a little too spicy with these fact checks. And then I want to remind everybody, all the documentary films are free. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture right here, right now in the playlist section. Thank you to Odyssey for backing everything up and not fact-checking my videos. I mean, for ridiculous reasons. And let's get to it. Elon Musk reveals ambitious plans to get humans to Mars by 2026. We're going to Mars. 7 years before NASA aims to take astronauts to the Red Planet. Are you out of your mind? Again, they keep showing you rocket technology. Technology that has been available now publicly for decade after decade after decade after decade after decade. And in many respects, outside of its weapons capabilities, has failed decade after decade after decade after decade to do anything, at least publicly, that we didn't do in the 60s and 70s. Bizarre, right? And in my previous video today, the Rockfin exclusive, I was talking about how I was watching the latest video put out by Stephen Greer, who I do not trust, by the way. I want to put that out there. Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And they're talking about hidden technologies, and they're talking about different propulsion systems and all this other stuff. But it's always alien-based, right? It's always alien-based. Well, the truth is that those technologies do exist, all right? Alien-based or otherwise. I personally don't believe they are. And they have been yet to be made available to the public, but Musk is telling you, we're going to Mars. And this is the same kind of thing that the Soviets would propagandize against their people. We're going to space. We're going to space. Everything's going to be utopia. Everything's going to be good. And notice this is also part of the Great Reset agenda. Finding aliens, going into space. We've covered it again in the same commercial where they tell you you will own nothing and you'll be happy. And they're going to print you organs and we're going to have massive climate change and all sorts of refugees and the West is going to fail. They're like, but don't worry. You're going to go to space and alien life, maybe. Maybe. So Musk also talking about the monkey with a brain implant that can play video games with his mind. Not technology, folks. Let me say that again. Not new. Not new. In fact, I'm going to play a trailer for the film The Minds of Men by TruthStream Media. I got to give Aaron and Melissa a call. I haven't talked to them in such a long time. I don't think I've even texted with them, man, in more than 6 months. But their film really shows you that the multitude of the technology that you're seeing via mind control, because that's what this is about, transhumanism and mind control, and telling you can be anything you want to be. Just take a little brain chip, Ski and Hutch. You're playing video games, no problem. This technology is old. And The Minds of Men shows you its DARPA beginnings and beyond. It shows you its MK Ultra ties. But they want to tell you, no, it's going to be good for you. Smartphone-controlled brain implant the size of a coin combats drug addiction in rats and could be used to treat Parkinson's disease and depression in humans. This is out of Korea. Okay? And again, they're controlled by your mobile phone. We've talked about cortical implants for some time. We've also talked about them being coin-sized and stacked. You know where we talked about them? DARPA. It's on their website. It's old. It's old. They were talking about interface overlays that soldiers could see through their eyes back then. We're talking about, again, decades-old technology. Decades-old technology. Now they want to say, don't worry. We're going to cure addictions. We're going to treat depression. We're going to get rid of Parkinson's. We're going to print organs. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Look at this. The device, roughly the length of a U.S. quarter, controls brain functions for long periods without the need for regular invasive procedures to change the batteries. Oh boy! Great! LEDs built into the device are the size of a grain of salt and use the light to manipulate neurons in the brain. Great. Awesome. Take a look. There it is. Just about the size of a quarter. No big deal. No big deal. A smartphone connects to the implant wirelessly and builds on the success of previous models, which were mounted to the head. Just, I don't want your brain implant. I don't want your Chipsy McStigger. I don't want any of it. I don't want some guy in a leather coat selling me on sitting down in a robot kiosk and having a Neuralink put in my head. Now, like I said, I am going to play this trailer here from The Minds of Men. Now, this is a dense film. I believe it clocks in at just under 4 hours, okay? It might take you 3-4 sittings to even watch through at one time. It is a must watch. It is a must. This is an older film now, too. I mean, what's it been around? 2-3 years? And again, props to TruthStream for putting this together. Let's play it.
Memorandum, dated 19th of June, 1964. Subject, direction and control of human behavior.
In the 1970s, the public was confronted for the first time with the fact that the Central Intelligence Agency had carried out a bizarre series of behavior modification and mind control experiments on unwitting citizens.
Super secret Project MK Ultra, as it was called.
Experiments funded by the CIA.
More expensive than the agency had admitted.
It proved to be one of the most bizarre episodes in CIA history.
Some 20 years earlier, as World War II ended and the Cold War began, CIA Director Alan Dulles signed off on Project MK Ultra in what he referred to as the battle for the minds of men.
The first thing that needs to be said is it's an experimental procedure.
We see here the possibility for direct physical manipulation of the mind.
The master control for the whole body resides in the brain.
The patients were definitely changed.
No, it doesn't hurt to stimulate the brain.
Ready on?
I had a dream I wasn't here.
Behind it all, in the background, with the rise of technology, the black box of the brain became a target of scientific deconstruction.
The mind, in contradistinction to brain and behavior, emerged in the 1950s as a legitimate object of experimental research.
What kind of a machine is man? I'm very curious to know just how far we can push this human operator.
And the neuron emerged as the smallest unit separating man from his external reality.
The world about us is accessible only through a nervous system.
The how of using our senses is a deeply concealed body of knowledge.
Decades of work was converging on the threshold of a vast, far-reaching covert agenda.
Delgado has remote control of the animal.
The electrical stimulator in the skull responds to radio stimulation. The bull becomes non-aggressive.
There's a tampered line.
Aggression can be evoked or inhibited.
The violence must be stopped quickly, finally, and permanently.
And if so, does anyone have the right to do that?
The VA records showed him to be entirely normal. His brain waves were normal. He was normal. And then they took him and put him in their project.
Can you tell me if there's any change in health? Can you tell me if there's any change in health?
He was lying in bed. His head was covered with a tent of newspapers. He was in terror. He said, "Doctors from Boston are trying to get my brain." Where science and secrecy merge.
The aim is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will.
In the minds of men.
One thing to realize about systems is how they are controlled. And we must get rid of any notion straight away that control is something imposed on the system from outside. It has to be built into it.
So there you go. Kind of a must watch. And if you don't think that all this transhumanist agenda doesn't have to do with implementation of these type of devices in your mind and linking that up with their militarized space programs, you got to understand all these underground bases like Area 51, they have Central Intelligence Agency origins. That's their origin story. That's how DARPA and all of this began, through compartmentalization, human experimentation, okay, technology suppression, and a plan for a transhumanist agenda. And this guy right here, he's a front man. That's the wrap. Guys, thumbs the video up on the way out. Subscribe and share. Remember, we do it several times a day with your help. The GoFundMe link is down below. There are other ways to support me down there. Again, if you're not a subscriber, if you just came across this video, subscribe. What do you got to lose? Probably the channel soon will probably be deplatformed soon. There's weird fact checks under videos that have nothing to do with the election. There's warnings over playing parts of Senate hearings in mixed martial arts podcasts that I do. But hey, that's okay, because we got the Rockfin. Make sure you go make that free account. We're going to have another live and exclusive free video tomorrow. It's Monday through Friday, only at the Rockfin. And today's is staying up there. Sometimes we cut it up, or sometimes we throw some of it on YouTube. All original, all free today over at the Rockfin. All the documentary films, Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order, Define and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now. And check out Odyssey.com, because they backed up my entire channel. Once I do get deplatformed, this is where the archives are, baby. So, guys, thanks for joining me. I love you. Thanks again for coming, and I'll see you on the flip side.